right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Tonight, burned down to the frame, a family now homeless, days after moving into their new house.
Our latest rain moves away. I'm tracking more rain and possible winter mix this weekend.
But first tonight, armed educators.
We need to do everything possible to protect our students, our staff, our teachers.
The move in Jefferson City to let not just teachers, but all school staff carry guns. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Ann Allred. Currently, Missouri law only allows certain teachers and administrators to conceal carry at school. But that could change. Our Laura Barczewski talked with both sides of this debate tonight. Laura.
Mike and Ann, the bill actually requires school faculty and staff to get a concealed carry permit and be approved and designated by the district school board to carry a gun on school property.
State Representative Cherie Tolson-Reich says her constituents have been asking for a bill like House Bill 70 for some time that would allow all types of school personnel to carry concealed guns to protect students from an active shooter.
This is helpful, not just in schools, but for example, if you're a school bus driver and somebody wants to try to come onto your bus and harm you and the kids.
Representative Ian Mackey says he knows firsthand how this could help in rural school districts with limited law enforcement resources and funding.
If there's an act of violence, whether that's a shooting or whether that's just some other sort of situation involving violence and harm to others, physical harm to others, where you need that police presence, in many settings, it's going to be 20 or 30 minutes before someone can arrive on the scene.
Tolson-Reich says if this was in place before the Central Visual and Performing Arts High School shooting, it's possible someone could have stopped the gunman.
It's not just a rural issue. I think it's urban. It's everywhere. I think crime can happen anywhere, and we need to do everything possible to protect our students, our staff, our teachers.
Mackey says even though he supported this bill, he feels the legislature needs to do more.
We just saw the decision related to the Second Amendment Preservation Act. That and the red flag laws. We know from that CVPA shooting, either or both of those would have prevented that from occurring. So
120 were in favor and 25 voted no on this bill. It's now moved on to the Senate, where they believe they have some support to eventually send it to the governor's desk. Ann.
Tonight, 3 major credit card companies are pausing plans to track gun sales. Visa, MasterCard, and Discover announced last year they'll implement a new merchant category code. But political pressure from Republicans, including here in Missouri, now has those companies backing down. Opponents claim it violates gun owners' rights. Advocates believe it could flag potential mass shootings and gun traffickers.
Breaking tonight, we have just learned St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner's chief trial assistant is resigning after less than 2 years on the job. Marvin Tier, a former St. Louis City court judge, will be leaving the office at the end of March. This will leave 4 prosecutors in Gardner's office. The move comes as the Missouri Attorney General is embarking on a rare legal maneuver to remove Gardner from office. Tonight, a Fenton mother is asking for help. Just 2 days ago, she lost her brand new home and her business in a fire. New tonight, she's talking to our Robert Townsend about the devastating setback. Robert?
Mike, it's been a tough few days for the mom and her 4 kids. Now, the family didn't even have a chance to settle into their new home before a fire ruined their plans. It's something Ebony, Rachel, and her kids were thrilled about for a long time.
It was peaceful. When you walked in, I just felt at home.
And last Saturday, the family finally moved into their new home on Winter Park Court in Fenton.
We started early Saturday morning, and I don't think we got done to late Saturday night unpacking.
Incredibly, 3 days later, their dreams went up in flames. Just after 11:30 Tuesday morning, a fire broke out inside their 2-car garage.
I'm thinking it was a small fire.
Oh my God!
But it wasn't.
How did this happen?
16-year-old Leilani and her older brother got out safely. When the fire started, Leilani was on the phone with her mom, who was at work.
And I heard a smoke detector going off.
Everything we had was gone that quick. And never would have imagined.
Their home, everything inside, and their mom's online apparel shop now all destroyed. Ebony's business was in their garage.
All my T-shirts, all my cutting machines, my printers. I had 2 printers. My heat presses, it's gone. Today I feel numb. Yesterday I was mad. The day before, I was in shock.
The family also lost their 2 beloved birds and 4 fish in the fire. A firefighter found their lost, singed guinea pig, Charlie, in the rubble.
I normally can fix things,
but fixing this will take time.
And you don't know where to start, because normally I say, okay, I can make a shirt and make some money. I can't do it this time, one moment at a time. A day is too long.
The family is staying at a hotel. They got assistance from the Red Cross. Now you can also help them. Just go to KSDK.com, look for this story under the As Seen on TV section, and you'll find their GoFundMe page. Investigators say the house fire was electrical related.
Very sad. Robert, thank you. Tonight, investigators in Lincoln County were trying to figure out what led a man to kill his wife and father-in-law before turning the gun on himself. The shootings happened last night on Highway W near Foley. Deputies found Lauren Foland and her father, Scott Causey, dead in the home. Philip Foland was flown to a hospital where he later died. 4 children were in the home at the time. They were not physically harmed, and right now they are in protective custody. A 15-year-old boy is now charged with second-degree murder as a juvenile in the death of a teenage girl. 15-year-old Emily Valentine was shot last week behind a home on Minnesota Avenue in South St. Louis. The suspect is already in juvenile custody in St. Louis County on an unrelated charge.
Tonight, justice for the family of a Bridgeton woman shot and killed while driving on Interstate 170. Today, a judge sentenced Calvin Pittman to 31 years in prison. A jury convicted him last month of voluntary manslaughter and other charges. Kristen Whitted was killed while driving on 170 near Olive back in November of 2020. Pittman claims he was firing back at another car and was not aiming at her. Tonight, St. Peter's police are sharing new surveillance images of the man wanted for shooting a woman outside the Harvester Schnucks store. Investigators say 24-year-old Tyrone Miller shot a woman in the face Friday night while struggling for her purse. She remains in critical condition. He's also wanted for a robbery just hours earlier at the Deerberg store in Shrewsbury.
New tonight, acknowledgement and a resolution. That's what the superintendent of the Ferguson Florissant School District is offering as he works to overcome challenges in student performance.
Brent Solomon is live in North St. Louis County to explain. This comes after Missouri released new, tougher ratings for districts across the state.
That's right. When you take a look at those numbers, you'll see that Ferguson Florissant is among the districts who fall behind. But they tell me that's not the end of the story. Tiffany Sherry wants to be a parent who's involved.
How is the growth development as a whole?
It's why she came to a community forum sponsored by her children's school district Thursday night.
Because I was concerned about the accreditation of Ferguson Florissant.
Fortunately, Ferguson Florissant still has its accreditation, although the state just gave the district a 66% performance rating. That's compared to some other districts in our area, like Clayton and Ladue, that ranked in the 90s.
The pandemic certainly hit our community hard. And we've seen that effect on communities like ours, and they were hit much greater than most communities.
Sherry can relate. When the pandemic hit, her 2 daughters were just starting elementary school.
Because I'm a single mom, and both of them were doing virtual learning at the same time, so it really called me to go into a field that I knew nothing about with being an educator.
All while working full time. As many students everywhere work to catch up, Superintendent Dr. Joseph Davis says other factors contribute to the district's rating, including changes in the way the state scores districts. In cases where the district did well this year, they may not have received as much credit for that progress this time.
But I think the hard thing is for people to understand, since it is a new system, and it spread everybody out, don't look at your district score and say, oh my God, we used to be a 95 and now we're a 78. We're terrible. No, it's a new test.
We're not there yet, but we're heading in a good direction.
I just think that with all hands on deck, we can make it better.
All right, back live now. The superintendent points to gains in math. His immediate goal is to work on a new curriculum for English and language arts and use that to reach students early. The superintendent is also proud that the district here received the maximum number of points from the state for their improvement plan. Mike.
Brent, thanks. Missouri voters could have a say on abortion rights in the state. Today, several proposals were unveiled to put constitutional amendments on the ballot next year. They would protect abortion rights and access to birth control. Right now, most abortions are outlawed in Missouri.
Interstate 64 drivers beware. There has been another report of a large rock falling or being thrown from the Hampton overpass.
It's very nerve-wracking to think that it might have gone through the windshield and severely hurt both of us.
That driver says a rock weighing more than 4 pounds hit her car as she drove home from work last night. 5 on Your Side is reported on multiple incidents at the Hampton and Kings Highway overpasses. MoDOT has inspected the bridge, says there's no evidence of failure, and police have since put up surveillance cameras to monitor the area.
Tonight, we're searching for solutions in a city back on the rise.
Detroit is learning how to work together in this building, bro. This building.
The work of politicians and philanthropists helping the Motor City complete its 180 and how it could work here.
Chilly weather continues for a while. I'll time out the weekend rain and possible winter mix.
Corruption scandals swamped St. Louis City Hall right as record windfalls of cash came pouring in.
Bribery, pay-to-play schemes landed aldermen in prison, gave the city a black eye, and cast suspicion on politicians' promises to deliver results in the public interest. Other cities suffered similar embarrassments and still bounced back in a big way. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, went to Detroit searching for solutions.
All right. Go ahead. I certainly appreciate his style of being able to handle the crowd.
I want to know.
When we arrived in Detroit,
he allows the citizens to vent.
I don't see nobody putting dispensaries downtown.
And he responds to those vents.
I'm going to stay with it until you're help.
And he does it on a factual basis.
Councilman Tate and I are going to be out.
We found Mayor Mike Duggan fielding questions from hundreds of voters one by one.
I picked the right time to become mayor. There's no question about that.
We would like to see the city.
Duggan entered City Hall at a low point for Detroit with a lengthy to-do list.
Detroit went through the largest municipal bankruptcy.
The city was broke and bloated. Its former mayor behind bars for a corrupt pay-to-play scheme after borrowing the budget into oblivion.
We, as voters, have failed to discipline our elected public officials. We were very glad to ride the gravy train as long as everybody could borrow more money and keep this thing going.
Trust in government was at an all-time low.
People gave up. That's part of the problem.
Folks had really lost faith in city government.
10 years later, a broken city is bustling.
Detroit's comeback is a mosaic. There's about 100 things that have to happen.
Crime is down, jobs and wages are up. People like Big Keith the barber are moving back home.
It's definitely getting better, bro.
Even billionaires are buying in.
If you have an idea, people are going to buy in.
There's definitely hope.
We wanted to know what sparked that renewed sense of hope.
The leadership has to align in some ways.
Veteran journalist John Gallagher covered the city for the Detroit Free Press and documented its downfall and its bounce back.
At first, there was almost no one to align with. I mean, city government in Detroit was so broken.
But before big business would buy in,
it's the job of the mayor to bring the city back.
Elected officials shouldered the load and started racking up wins wherever they could find them.
When a place is dark and dimly lit, it's a problem for crime.
City Hall started small, solving a simple problem first.
We talked about here's when you can expect your streetlights on. Here's when you can expect the police response time to be cut.
Soon, people started to see something was changing.
It was fast, but you have to show them something. You have to do something big. If the lights are out, you got to get the lights turned on.
When you promise it and you deliver it, before very long, people stop talking about the past and they start talking about the future. And I'm sure you saw it here. Right now, everybody in Detroit is talking about the future.
Everyone, including billionaire philanthropist Dan Gilbert, who pitched in $500 million to boost development in the city's neighborhoods.
Detroit was lucky in that we had some fairly civic-minded people doing these things.
Other businesses bought in too. Henry Ford's great-grandson invested $1 billion in restoring Michigan Central Station.
There's a common goal.
This time, there's a sense of broader buy-in for everyone, not just the wealthy and well-connected.
What Ford is doing is real great. It's going to bring a lot of more diversity to Detroit.
Mayor Duggan's office, this is Sam. How can I help you?
Duggan's office aggressively advertises expanded opportunities for former felons seeking expungement, small businesses seeking grant funds, unemployed workers seeking jobs, and homeowners seeking equity.
That's where wealth comes from, sticking together.
In each category of Detroit's comeback, specialists at city government help first-time job seekers, business owners, homeowners, or returning citizens speed through red tape and overcome hurdles in the system.
Detroit is learning how to work together in this building, bro. This building.
We built on our strengths, and I think that's what every city has to do, is build on your strengths.
Searching for solutions in a city the size of St. Louis can seem overwhelming. Such a large problem in a big American city, but the lessons we learned in Detroit were that each individual person doing their part, almost like they would on an assembly line, can develop quite a quick turnaround and provide that spark a city needs for its comeback. You might call it the spirit of Detroit. Reporting in the Motor City, Mark Maxwell, 5 on your side.
And news tonight out of the Motor City could affect jobs here in St. Louis. General Motors is offering buyouts to many of its 58,000 salaried workers nationwide. The offers are for white-collar workers who've been with the company for at least 5 years. The company says this is to avoid layoffs in the future. We asked GM what this will mean for workers at the Wentzville plant. Company officials say they cannot provide a breakdown on how each location will be impacted.
This weekend, the streets of downtown St. Louis will be a sea of green. More than 250,000 people are expected to come down for the 54th annual Metropolitan St. Louis St. Patrick's Day Parade. The parade steps off Saturday at noon from Market and 20th Streets. It will head east down Market, ending at Broadway and Clark. Join 5 on your side in Dogtown on St. Patrick's Day. The 5+ Live Bus and Storm Tracker will be there for the Ancient Order of Hibernians Parade. If you can't make it down, don't worry. We're going to stream the parade live on our 5+ app. You can download that app for free on Roku and Amazon Fire TV.
We may not be so lucky with the weather on Saturday. Weather First meteorologist Jim Castillo joins us now. He's in for Scott, right, Jim?
Yeah, you know, so as a kid, 5 years old, Boatman's Bank, I'd watch the parade from my father's office. So, and you know what? I remember snowflakes, and that's possible.
Oh my
with the
goodness.
rain this Saturday. Yeah, so it happens, and I know we were just in the 70s, but now we're chilly. It's not going to be a big winter storm at all, but a winter mix on Saturday afternoon is probably likely in a couple of spots. All right, so let's see what's happening right now. Camera's shaking a bit. Remember the wind I was talking about if you watched our evening shows? Rain has moved out. Probably most of us had 1/10 of an inch or less, Ladue, St. Charles, Greenville. But Wentzville and Ramsey, Illinois, almost 1/4 of an inch, but at Lambert, less than 1/10 of an inch, and 48 for that high, 54 for the average high, and 42 is the current reading, but we're going to dip down into the 30s tonight. So it's going to be a chilly night, plus with that wind, you have to factor in that wind chill. So right now it's feeling like 36. At the bus stop tomorrow morning, it's going to be a really chilly one with that wind staying up 20, 25, 30 miles an hour until late morning, and then it starts to subside a little bit. So the weather headlines, it's a chilly but dry Friday. Little sunshine in the afternoon after morning clouds and a very cloudy start. Rain develops Saturday, but then that winter mix. You might see sleet, maybe some snowflakes, or some of that grapple, which is a soft hail that we've been seeing occasionally. But right now, that Doppler weather radar is showing nothing on it. So that rain that we had earlier has moved on. So it's breezy tonight, 35 for that low on average. And then tomorrow, northwest wind 10 to 15, gusts to 25, and high temperatures at about 47. Again, some sunshine in the afternoon. Look at California again. Very high snow levels, incredible amounts of rain right now in San Francisco, Modesto, and then even at Lake Tahoe, very heavy snow, but this time that snow level is really high. We're not going to see that intensity of the storm, but a piece of that energy is moving out into the Rocky Mountains, and eventually that low tracks to our south, pulls in that colder air, and that's why Saturday we'll have to watch to see if any of that rain mixes in, again with a little winter mix. But temperatures above freezing, we'll make sure that we don't have any travel problems with that. So 47 for Friday, 46 Saturday, 45 Sunday. We're in the 40s through Tuesday. We're not in the 50s until we get to Wednesday and Thursday of next week. And Sunday does look like the better day of the weekend, guys. Maybe a shower in the morning, and then it's just mostly cloudy. But it's only warm right here, Wednesday and Thursday in that 10-day.
All right, Jim, thank you. Frank is off tonight. Corey Miller is here with what's coming up in sports.
We have major implications for our college basketball teams. The Blues are trying to stop their slide closer to the NHL basement. And Albert Pujols, future coach, that's all coming up next in sports.
The Sports Desk is brought to you by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer, 10 years running.
While Missouri and Illinois are playing this week to better their seed in the Big Dance, SLU is playing for the chance to dance at all. The goal for the Bills is clear: win 3 games in Brooklyn, punch their ticket. Today was a good start in the A-10 quarterfinals against George Mason. With the game tied at 25, the Billikens made their move. Francis Okoro with the finish as the Bills went up by 14 at half. VCU head coach Mike Rhodes wondering if his team will get a third look at SLU this season. Yes, coach, you will. Yuri Collins was dropping dimes in the second half. Javon Pickett gets the easy 2 behind the defense, and then Gibson Jimerson gets rewarded for the nice cut to the basket. Travis Ford is pleased as SLU moves on to the semis, 82-54.
Just being able to find guys when they're open, it only helps the team when you're moving the ball like that. It makes you hard to guard when it's not sticking. It just bolsters our offense.
Most importantly, we played aggressive, and we didn't do that last game. Had a different game plan coming in here, and it was to be more aggressive, and that's what we did.
Illinois taking on Penn State in their Big Ten tourney opener. If the Illini want to make a run this March, they need their star, Terrence Shannon Jr., to produce. He did today with a team-high 19, but Illinois was fighting from behind almost the entire game. Nittany Lions bounced the Illini from the Big Ten tournament with a 79-76 win, their third of the season over Brad Underwood's squad. The Missouri Tigers will face...
2 teams are going to play well, and somebody has to come away with a loss this March. There's going to be possession by possession. There's going to be situations. You're going to have circumstances. You just can't predict it all. You just hope in that melting pot of a season from your non-conference all the way through to conference that you have had enough experiences that can help you.
The Blues were rocking the 90s throwbacks tonight against the Sharks. I tell you what, they could use 90s Brett Hull right about now. Nice goal from Sammy Blais on the breakaway. That gave the Note a 2-1 lead. It's tied in the third, and the new guy, Jacob Vrana, he's able to bank one in off the Sharks goalie. Blues lead 3-2. Robert Thomas added one late. Blues win 4-2 tonight. It was an exhibition day in Jupiter. The Cardinals hosted Nicaragua at Roger Dean Stadium. But their performances on the field today still count when piecing together the opening day puzzle. Where does this guy fit in that puzzle? Dakota Hudson on the hill today. He was good. No runs in 4 innings. He did walk 3 guys. The youngest player in camp had the biggest hit. Newly turned 20-year-old Jeremy Rivas, 2 RBI single, put the Cards up late, and they win 6-4. Back to Hudson. Our Cardinals insider has some insight on his performance today.
He still struggles with the pitch clock and location, hence the walks. But overall, 64 pitches, 4 innings. It's a good step in the right direction. It just complicates Ali Marmol's decisions on who stays and who goes as far as his pitching staff is concerned, both starters and bullpen.
Check out who was in Jupiter today. Albert Pujols dropped in on some of his old Cardinals pals at spring training. He's happily retired, but has spent some time working with younger players lately. It's a passion Pujols said he'd like to pursue in the future, possibly on a coaching staff at some point.
I don't have to have my mind in the cage trying to get myself ready for the season. Now I can focus more on the young player, and that was something that I was able to do. And it was fun. I had a great time. I enjoyed it. So hopefully I continue to do more of that.
So we could see Coach Albert Pujols in the future. We're definitely going to see Coach Yadier Molina coming up in the World Baseball Classic. Right. He's the manager of Team Puerto Rico.
Right, he's not a coach. He's a manager.
He is the manager. I can't wait to see that.
All right. Thanks, Corey.
A new way to explore St. Louis. The prizes you can win by visiting local hotspots. A new study finds St. Louis is the most affordable large U.S. city to live. According to Smart Asset, it only takes a single person with no children earning $57,000, that's after taxes, to live comfortably. Half of that is for living expenses. That leaves 30% for discretionary spending, and the remaining 20% is for savings or debt payments.
You can now explore our great city and earn prizes. Explore St. Louis has launched a new Buildings and Bites Pass that pairs landmarks with local restaurants. Check in with your phone and earn points to win prizes like St. Louis swag and a local getaway. You can sign up on Explore St. Louis's website.
All right, you two tell me if you think this sounds good. Tomorrow is National Ranch Day. To celebrate, Hidden Valley Ranch and Van Leeuwen Ice Cream are teaming up for a new ranch-flavored ice cream. The savory and sweet treat is said to go perfect with potato chips and pretzels. It will only be available for a limited time at Walmart stores beginning March 20th. I've had Van Leeuwen ice cream. It's very good. But let's get to Jim. I would try it. I think it sounds good.
I just don't like ranch dressing at all.
I do.
I'm with Mike.
Blue cheese, but I don't think that would be good in ice cream.
Oh, that's so funny. I'm with you, Mike. Exactly. All right, so weather-wise, but I guess we should try it, maybe. So 10-day forecast, look at this. We're in the 40s most of this 10-day period. Wednesday and Thursday of next week are the warmer days, near 60. But over the weekend, that rain begins Saturday probably at noon and may mix in a little bit with some winter precip.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Good night.